everyone, I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic. Welcome to my channel. Let's talk about this Leo full moon. Big hugs to my subscriber family, and if you are new here, warm welcome to you. I hope you enjoy your stay, and I hope you consider subscribing down in the corner if you like this type of content and information on this channel. I talk a lot about astrology, mysticism, folk magic, living with the natural cycles of the earth, and consciousness, conscious relationships, and expanding our own. We have been having a ton of solar activity and high electrons hitting the earth, and geomagnetic activity. And a lot of times this can make us feel really tired. A lot of folks are messaging me with sleep disruptions. Either they're exhausted and sleeping all the time, or they just can't seem to get enough sleep, or both. And I've been having that as well. First, we're going to talk about the full moon itself, and then we're going to have to talk about some United States astrology, because you'll see. So here we have our Leo full moon. We have our sun moon opposition at 28 degrees and 0 minutes of Leo. And this is occurring on February 16th, 2022 at 11:56 a.m. This is Eastern Standard Time. Okay, the major aspect we have going on here is the square with the nodes. So here we have the sun in a tight square with the nodes, and the moon, or here's the moon in the square and the sun in the square with the nodes. Now, whenever we have the sun square the nodes, this brings up issues, things, ways, tendencies that we have to give away our power. You know how when we really fall in love, we lose ourselves, we all of a sudden give up all of our hobbies, all of our friends, we put all of our identity into this relationship. It can be anything though. It can be a movement, it can be work, it can be religion, it can be anything that we substitute for our own identity. We give over our identity for this other thing. When that thing goes away, what are we left with? We find ourselves navigating life without a compass, without any rudders. We're lost because we've given away our identity. We've lost ourselves. So this is the energy of that sun square the nodes. Now, when the moon is squaring the nodes, it's similar in that it brings up all the ways that we have not been nurtured, not nurtured ourselves, issues with family, with mothering, both mothering and being mothered. It challenges our instincts, and it kind of gets us in a way that's hard to explain, because the moon is instinctual. It's our inner nature. It's our moods, our intuition, our receptivity. So this is an agitated energy. Now, I do want to mention something pretty cool about this full moon is that it is occurring conjunct the Royal Star Regulus. And in starseed astrology, it's believed by some that the starry realm of Regulus is the place where all of our forgotten beings go after they have died from lack of belief. So that would be like our fairies, unicorns, would be all of those mythological creatures, those magical beings. So I like bringing in a little bit of magic because, you know, these are intense times right now. They just are. And everyone is struggling in one way or another. So bringing a little bit of magic into that. So let's not forget about the unicorns. So I do want to mention, even though this square with the nodes is the only major aspect that this full moon is making, the sun, not the moon, but this is pretty interesting. The sun is making a novile aspect with both Venus and Mars, who are very much in an exact conjunction. And kind of they're doing this dance with each other. I think they're coming into a conjunction 3 times throughout the month of February. And the novile aspect is connected to the ideal partner. It's also associated with leveling up in wisdom, with kind of maxing something out, wisdom, love, ability, power, and then bumping up to a new level, because the 9 is a magical number. It is the number of completion. So there's a lot of talk about this Venus-Mars conjunction in Capricorn. And it's, it's almost like there are 2 themes going on here, because we have this outer theme. We have the theme with the United States and the Pluto return, which we'll talk about. And then we have this divine union. And I don't mean that in twin flame words. I mean a union of energies, a perfection of evolved masculinity and evolved femininity, which is the answer to everything that ails us in our world, in my opinion. So with this being in Capricorn, let's just hope that this energy is reflected in perfection in this square of the sun and moon. We have feminine, masculine energies here reflected. We have feminine and masculine energies here with the sun and moon with the sun and moon reflected. And that squaring the nodes creates that tension, but potential for fusion, unity, uniting energy. And in Capricorn, it's the type of union that creates legacies. This is climbing the mountain, doing the hard work to build and create something that will last, something that makes a difference. We also have asteroid goddess Vesta, sacred flame keeper. She has been hanging really close to these 2, which also brings another level of magic. She brings the request to belong to yourself so that you can truly give and receive. And that is reflected in that square with the sun that we were talking about before. We don't want to engage in activities, relationships, belief systems, anything that requires that we abandon ourselves. No, no more. The Leo moon is proud, warm, regal, a little dramatic with flair. So with that in mind, let's talk about some other aspects to this. So let's talk about some fixed stars. The moon, this full moon at 28 degrees of Leo, is conjunct the fixed star Aldebaran. It's a very tight conjunction at 0 degrees and 7 minutes. This fixed star is in the constellation of Leo the Lion and brings an energy, a typical type of Leo energy, fiery, passionate, highly emotionally expressive nature type of energy. There's also something about public visibility here, creativity and charisma. This is a good moon to make moon water if you're looking to do any kind of enchantments or spell work that includes that type of energy. So one of the Arabic names for this star is Al-Sirfa, and that means the funeral pyre, which implies transformation, fire, change, drama. So the Arabic lunar mansion that this full moon falls in, according to astrologer genius Robeson, who has given us an incredible body of work on fixed stars and asteroids, gives this star, or the lunar mansion rather, says that it strengthens buildings, promotes love, and help against enemies. That's pretty interesting. Both Arabic and Indian systems give, traditional sort of leonine, if that's a word, qualities to these mansions. But Robeson, the genius astrologer, associates this star with things like poison, corrosive acids, liquid explosives, and liquid fire. What exactly is liquid fire? Do you know? If you know, please tell me in the comments. So this is kind of a volatile, dramatic, emotionally flammable kind of energy. So if we go back to just kind of the lion in human history, lions have long been revered by humans, and we have always identified the qualities of grace, nobility, strength, and courage with lions. So this is interesting. The oldest known figurine that combines human and lion attributes is a stone carving of a lion-headed man that was discovered in Germany in a cave. And it's something like 32,000 years old. Mind-boggling. We also have to mention our lion-headed Egyptian goddess Sekhmet, who was a beautiful woman with the head of a lion. She was the ferocious and fearsome goddess of war. This is why this is the full moon of love and war. Throughout history, gods and goddesses of love have also been associated with war. Why is that? Because passion is passion, however it's directed, for good or ill. The Indian goddess Durga, who is a fierce protector and warrior, is often depicted riding a lion. And of course, I mentioned the Royal Star Regulus. I talked about some of the starseed mythology around that, but when we talk about it as a fixed star, this star is connected to prominence, leadership, all of that Leo stuff. There are only 4 what are called royal stars. So to have a full moon conjunct one of them is a big deal. It gives it more of a spotlight, which Leo likes. Isn't that kind of cool? So let's talk about some asteroid astrology. This full moon is conjunct the asteroid Rhamnus. Now, this asteroid was named after the genus of plants known as buckthorns. These are berry-bearing shrubs, small trees, native all across the globe, Europe, Asia, Africa, all over the place. Now, traditionally in Europe, buckthorns were used as a purgative, like in, like make you purge things, because it was very toxic. And so the body just rejected it. So that's a little interesting too, just kind of a little bit of a background flavor, where maybe a lot of this will have us recognizing some things that are toxic for us. And they may very well be our own tendencies, things within us that are toxic, that we need to purge, so to speak. There's also an ancient Greek site called Rhamnus, and it was famous for its temple to Nemesis, the ancient goddess of retribution and revenge. So again, we have another sort of war, love and war. So normally I keep the fixed stars and asteroid stuff kind of focused on the sun and moon, but there are a couple things that I just want to mention real quick before we wrap up. The asteroid Valentine is conjunct Venus and Mars. And tell me that isn't super sweet. Of course, we had Valentine's Day on the 14th. I just think that's pretty sweet. And I hope that we all get a little bit of sweetness. So this asteroid gives emphasis to themes of love and romance and sensuality, sentimentality, sexuality, and all that yummy romance stuff. Love and war, y'all. Love and war. So here we have the United States natal chart. This is the Sibley chart. Astrologers don't agree or use the same charts for this, but this is my favorite chart. And in my opinion, it has proven its worth many times over. Okay, my friends. So here on the inside is the United States chart. Outside is the chart for the full moon. And here we have the Pluto return of the United States, which is exact to degree and minute on February 20th. Now, of course, it's already exact by degree, 27 degrees of Capricorn, transiting 27 degrees of Capricorn, natally. We just have a few minutes to go, but Pluto return is more of a season rather than a day. And honestly, we've been in this heat for a little while, and we're going to be in this heat for a little while. I did a video on the Pluto return a while back. I will put the link for it in the description box below, where I talk a little bit about some history of Pluto returns. People don't have Pluto returns because our lifespan isn't long enough, but countries do. The Roman civilization fell during their second Pluto return, and the British Empire has endured numerous Pluto returns, each with its own flavor of unrest. I believe the first one was when slavery was abolished. So in other words, the United States is in this sort of, you can imagine it like a funnel. We're kind of in the bottleneck now, where things are getting a little tight, a little hot. So if you are feeling the tension in the air, it's very real. The other thing I want to bring up is the Neptune opposition of the United States. This has been going on since 2021. I think it was March or May. I can't remember when we had the first exact pass of this. I think it's February 28th will be the final exact opposition of transiting Neptune to the United States Neptune. Now, these transits to the United States are a really big deal. These are intense energies. If any of you have already been through your Neptune square transit, you may have a little bit of understanding of what this could mean for a country. Neptune's hard to pin down. I talked about this a little bit last week on one of my dailies. But the thing is this is a period of time where grand deception is possible. The type of deception that can really change the course of things. There's also the potential to snap out of it, to snap out of the deception. This is facing those illusions and delusions. And we have been in this bottleneck for a little while. So it's interesting to me that the first pass of the Pluto return, which is this karmic reckoning for our country. So for a country, this is karmic reckoning over how a country has used its power in general, and all the smoke and mirrors that it has deployed to hide that fact. Pluto pulls back the curtain, and it's often very difficult to see what's behind that curtain. Please visit my website for a reading. I have a new 15-minute audio recorded reading that's incredibly affordable. This is a new service that I am offering for those who maybe just have a question, maybe want to know how these full moons and new moons are landing in their charts. You can ask any question you like. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And we've got this. I'll see you soon.